Hello friends, welcome to Technique. This is Nirmal here, and in this video we're going to do a camera comparison of the Xiaomi's Redmi Note 5 Pro with the Lenovo K8 Note. So even though the Lenovo K8 Note is almost like 6 months old device, a lot of our viewers have been asking us for this comparison. So in this video we'll do a camera comparison of these two dual camera smartphones. So let's get started. So these two devices are priced below the 15K price segment, and both have dual rear camera and also a good selfie camera. So in this video we'll compare the rear camera samples, the video recording, and also the selfie camera samples to see which is better in this price segment. So without any further delay, let's get started. So first up, let's have a look at the specifications of the Redmi Note 5 Pro. So Xiaomi Redmi Note 5 Pro comes with a dual camera 12 megapixel primary camera, a secondary 5 megapixel camera for depth sensing, f-stop 2.2 aperture and LED flash, and on the front panel we have a 20 megapixel camera, again with an LED flash. Now coming to the Lenovo K8 Note, it comes with a 13 megapixel primary camera, secondary 5 megapixel camera for depth sensing and f-stop 2.0 aperture, and a 13 megapixel front facing camera with an LED flash. Now let's start off with the video recording sample taken with these two devices. So this is the 1080p sample taken with these two devices. Again, you can see that there is electronic image stabilization available on the Redmi Note 5 Pro, and the video looks pretty good and smooth in nature. On the other hand, the Lenovo K8 Note does not offer electronic image stabilization, and the video looks a bit shaky. But the details are pretty good, and the sharpness levels are also really good on the Lenovo's K8 Note. But having the electronic image stabilization is definitely a strong point, because the videos look a bit more smoother in nature when compared to the K8 Note. So video will give it to the Redmi Note 5 Pro in terms of the overall clarity and features being offered. Now next up, let's have a look at the daylight captures taken with these two devices. So these are the daylight captures taken with these two devices. So these two devices offer really great details in the daylight captures. The color tones were slightly on the warmer side on the Redmi Note 5 Pro, while it's slightly on the colder side on the Lenovo's K8 Note. But what impressed us on the Lenovo K8 Note was the sharpness levels and details, which was slightly better than the Redmi Note 5 Pro in terms of the daylight conditions. So Lenovo K8 Note definitely offers one of the really good camera smartphones in the daylight conditions, but the colors were slightly more vivid on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. So overall, in terms of daylight conditions, we feel both are neck to neck, and you can see which is better based on the images we are shown here. Now coming to the close-up images, here again we feel both these devices are neck to neck. Both produce some really amazing results, sharpness levels and details, and overall color reproduction was also very similar on both the phones. So two of the really good camera smartphones for daylight captures with great detailing, good color reproduction, and overall clarity looks pretty good. Now looking at the portrait sample, so this is one area where we feel the Redmi Note 5 Pro is a clear winner, with K8 Note having issues with edge detection, and overall it was not really perfect. So the portrait samples look better on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. Now next up, the low light capture. So you can see that in terms of low light performance, the images are a tad more brighter on the K8 Note, and the details are also quite good on the K8 Note. But when it comes to extreme low light conditions, so that's where the Redmi Note 5 Pro has slightly better advantage. So you can see here the sharpness levels in extreme low light conditions was better on the Redmi Note 5 Pro, and also the images have a bit more details in extreme low light conditions on the Redmi Note 5 Pro. But both these devices did a quite good job in terms of the low light performance. So these are some of the samples we are taken with these two devices under low light conditions. Now finally, the selfie performance. So both these devices are again selfie focused smartphones, but here we feel the Redmi Note 5 Pro definitely has an advantage. Again, selfies are a personal choice, so you can choose which is a better selfie smartphone based on your images we have shown here. But one thing to note, that the Redmi Note 5 Pro has this bokeh mode, which is missing on the Lenovo's K8 Note. So that's an additional feature which is available on the Redmi Note 5 Pro when compared to the Lenovo K8 Note. So selfies, we would say the Redmi Note 5 Pro did a better job. Both these devices have LED flash as well. So these are the selfie samples taken with these two devices. So now finally, summing up, which is a better camera smartphone here. So in terms of the video recording, both did a pretty good job, but electronic image stabilization on the Redmi Note 5 Pro gives it an edge, and in terms of daylight conditions, we feel both are almost similar, and we can't really choose a winner here, but both did a really good job. When it comes to low light, again it's a mixed performance. In some conditions it was Redmi Note 5 Pro, but in some other cases it was the Lenovo's K8 Note. Now finally, the selfie performance, that's where the Redmi Note 5 Pro has a clear edge, and also in terms of the portrait photography of the rear camera, the Redmi Note 5 Pro has a clear edge. So it's a mixed performance between these two devices. So we will leave it to viewers to decide which is a better camera smartphone in this price segment among these two devices. So that's it for this video. This is Nirmal signing off. Thanks for watching. Hope to see you in our next video. Have a great day.